If you're new to the channel, let me introduce myself. So my name is Dr. Jones. So I'm a holistic and natural obesity expert. What that means is I specialize in helping patients achieve lasting weight loss through the aid of powerful science-backed options. These medications are very popular, semaglutide and tirzepatide. So everything that you've heard right now about these medications is very true. These are the best things since sliced bread. These medications are very powerful. But here's the thing that no one's talking about. It's not sexy to talk about this, right? But here it is. How do we use these medications without lifelong dependence? How do we use these medications in a format where we are not stuck on them for the rest of our life? This is a big deal because nobody wants to talk about this right now. This industry is booming. Awareness of GLP-1 medications is growing, and everybody wants to get their hands on them. And look, I agree. I think these medications are awesome, but I want everybody to have a fighting chance to not be stuck on these meds for the rest of their life. So a lot of people right now are experiencing post weight gain when they stop their GLP-1 medications. In fact, this is already proven in the literature. This isn't a fear-mongering thing. There was a randomized control study that looked at this very thing. Patients who stopped semaglutide within a single year regained all their weight back. Within a single year, 70% of patients were screwed. This is the reality of the scene, but you also need to understand that this is not a phenomena that is specifically related to the medications. It's not that these medications per se are causing lifelong dependence on the meds. No, maintaining weight loss already as a whole is very challenging. It's very difficult to maintain weight loss. Any type of weight loss that's accompanied or supported from a powerful medication is going to be that much harder to maintain. So we're going to get into this, but one of the keys to success is implementing proper lifestyle choices and going through the FLOA protocol, which is what we coach our patients in. This is where we get our patients into a weekly long round of fasting, say 36, 48 hours every single week. And we make it easy through the medications and coaching and support. A weight loss plateau is created by long-term caloric restriction, AKA weight loss, right? The way that you beat a plateau is sustained caloric surplus. You got to do the opposite of what got you in a plateau to get out of the plateau. So weight loss plateaus, there's three pieces to the weight loss plateau. What causes it? What is it? How do we fix it? And how do we prevent it? This is a big deal, guys, because that's the biggest roadblock to successful weight loss is that freaking plateau. So what is a weight loss plateau? It is the reaction from your body that causes the weight loss that you were experiencing to slow down and to ultimately stop. That's what it is fundamentally. What actually happens physiologically is your thyroid gland starts producing less thyroid hormone. Literally, your body becomes hypothyroid for a temporary period of time. And we can see that if we were to measure your thyroid hormone, your thyroid would have been fine before, and now it's actually slower, and you can actually see a lower amount of T3 usually, or a higher amount of reverse T3. So this mechanism that causes your thyroid gland to slow down is literally an evolutionary mechanism. But our ancestors for millions of years did not have steady states of food. And so the only ancestors that could have survived those long periods of time where they didn't have food were the ones that developed the mechanisms that allowed them, this is key, guys, our ancestors that were successful to get to the point of us today were the ones that evolved mechanisms to be able to fast for a long period of time and to be able to slow down the metabolism. Because if our ancestors could not slow down their metabolism, they couldn't survive those periods of famine. This is the why, and now you know the what is it? What is it actually happening, and why did it happen? Okay, great. That's all interesting, Doc, but how do I fix it? Okay, here we go. The summary of what a weight loss plateau is a slowdown in the metabolism, right? What causes it? A restriction in calories over time. I'm going to say this in multiple different ways. A calorie restriction over time, a calorie deficit over time is what leads to a plateau. Really let that sink in. Your body has centers in the brain that are detecting trends in the caloric intake. So this trend, because a plateau doesn't happen overnight for most people, it takes time. So week 1, week 2, week 3, your body is detecting this trend. Oh, I'm eating less. Oh, I got to slow down this weight loss. And so what does it trigger? It triggers this starvation mode reaction, which is ultimately followed by a slowdown in the metabolism. So the way that we fix this, the way that we beat this is we got to do the opposite. The opposite of a calorie restriction over time, guys, is a calorie surplus over time. So let that sink in. We have to literally eat more. The way that we beat a plateau is a calorie surplus over time. You have to start eating more, and you have to give it about 2 to 4 weeks. But if you eat too much too fast, you will gain weight. And that's what makes plateaus so tricky to navigate. And then we look for confirmation from your body. Your body tells us based off of how the symptoms change, is it liking what we're doing? And usually depending on how low your intake was, determines how many weeks it's going to take for you to break that plateau. So that is the reality of how long it takes, about a 2 to 4 week period of you slowly increasing your calories. That's the big key. And then you'll notice too, like when you do this reset, you will notice that you feel better. You will notice that your energy starts to increase. You will notice that your brain fog starts to decrease. You will notice that you might even start pooping better, right? There's a lot of various issues that will improve over time. You can beat a plateau in 2 different ways. And I'm going to be careful with the words I use. Beat. If your goal when you are trying to beat a reset is to lose more weight, you can do something different than what I told you guys earlier. So if you're in a plateau and let's say you're eating 1,500 calories, I'm telling you the solution is eat more. And you understand why and what that looks like. The other path is eating less. If you continue to react to a plateau by increasing your calorie deficit, you will turn on more weight loss. If you continue to keep decreasing it at the cost of your quality of life, you will continue to lose weight. I've never seen anybody consistently eat less than 800. That's probably the lowest intake that I've ever caught somebody on is 800. So keep that in mind, that there's 2 ways to get you to trigger more weight loss. But if you keep restricting as opposed to doing what I said, in the long run, you're eventually going to crash. You're eventually going to rebound. And you're also going to feel like crap, because when your body is running off of 800 calories, you feel like, excuse my language, you don't feel good. I like to call that battery saving mode. Battery saving mode is this situation with your body where your body figures out how to run off of a low amount of calories. The lifestyle that I think is the most effective is a lifestyle that focuses on optimizing insulin levels. So we do a lot of fasting, we do a lot of low carb, we do a lot of different pieces to this equation. So the question is, why wean off? We're not always going to be able to wean everybody off medications. Some medications are absolutely needed for life. That's a given. But nobody in the allopathic space, the majority of them, are not talking about lifestyle choices and implementations, things that we can change about our lifestyle that can get to the root cause of what these medications are being prescribed to begin with, right? The high blood pressure, the cholesterol, the diabetes are a result of what? And in many cases, they're a result of poor lifestyle choices. Of course, there are plenty of common genetic predispositions. And so if you have one of those situations, yeah, it's going to be tougher to lifestyle your way out of it. But unfortunately, enough people are not being educated or guided, And it's not even the doctor's fault. Unfortunately, the doctors are victims of a bigger system that doesn't pay them enough time to spend with the patients to guide them and educate them and support them. That's the reality of the situation. So you can live in the delusion that the system is good the way it is, or you can open up and realize that it's a limited system. And what I do is help our patients navigate through that with the goal in mind of achieving optimal health. So fasting is an amazing lifestyle choice. Incorporating fasting is a phenomenal health improving lifestyle choice. Intermittent fasting is your eating window every single day is compressed. Prolonged fasting is where you take it to the next level and you fast for more than 24 hours. What I created is the world's most aggressive prolonged fasting regimen, and we call that the FLOA protocol, which stands for FLOA, fasting like our ancestors. And I created structure where structure was needed in the world of prolonged fasting, because I think this is the easiest way to beat obesity and maintain a healthy weight. So I think deep down, there's a lot more people that wish they could wean off the meds. But think about it. You're obese. You're very sick. You're unhealthy. For the first time in your life, you've been able to gain control over your health with these medications. So I get it. I totally understand and appreciate, and I can literally sympathize with somebody going through that, because I've been there, I've done that, I've struggled, and I know what that feels like. So I totally respect and appreciate the fear of stopping, the concern of regressing, the concern of reverting. I get that. Step number one, take the medications. Step number two, lose the weight. But step number two in my flow of things means that you also lose the weight while implementing better lifestyle choices. And so you have two paths here. You could take the meds, lose your weight, and not make any changes. Then you're going to be stuck on the med for the rest of your life. Or you could take the med, free up yourself from food chatter, make the right lifestyle choices, and gain that control yourself so that you won't need the meds for the rest of your life. It's a step-by-step process. You know what I mean? There's a lot of mindset to this. I cannot produce a scenario where you are never going to experience hunger. I can't do that. I don't think it's healthy to not experience hunger for the rest of your life, though. And that's my other concern about this medication, is you literally are never going to feel hungry for the rest of your life. Like, hunger is such an important cue that you need to know how to deal with. You need to learn how to be hungry and know that you're not going to pass out, that you're not going to have major issues, that it's okay to be hungry. Now, is that something that you can learn how to develop in the beginning? No. That's why you need the meds, right? Use the meds. Like, let's use the science here. But then let's coach you and guide you so that we can teach you how to handle being hungry again. Once you learn how to handle that, which is a possibility after following the protocol for a couple months, that's the most powerful thing that I can do for you. The most important thing I do for my patients is not weight loss. The most important thing that I do for my patients is teaching them how to maintain their weight on their own without medication. If you experience rapid weight gain after stopping the medications, then you didn't beat the disease. Then all you did was experience the awesomeness of the effect of the medication short term. But if you beat the disease, when you start to decrease the medication, you won't have such a rapid rebound of weight gain. How do you beat the disease? That's the $1 million question. That's what the whole protocol is. So the short answer is my protocol is how you beat it. I'm definitely for the meds. If you've struggled to get control of your ability to eat less and make better choices, I'm all for the meds. What I'm not for is using the meds without thinking, okay, this is a tool. What can I do to get better? I'm not a pro that. In other words, I'm not pro, let me use the meds and continue to be lazy. In fact, we won't even prescribe the medication for people if that's their plan. We only work with patients that are thinking, okay, I need the help me please, but then I would love to wean off if I can. That's the patients that we accept for care. If you guys found this video informative and you learned, then you're gonna wanna check out this following video that I link. It's all about lasting weight loss. We'll see you there. So many people that are talking about the fact that you need to stay on these medications for the rest of your life, or no one's even talking about it. But when you look at the literature, is very clear